All right. So I am officially past the 100-mile mark on my Onewheel Pint, and I figured I would shoot a little video here to kind of talk about some of my impressions of the Pint up until this point and about some of my experience with it. Figured we'd talk a little bit about the good, the bad, the ugly, not so much of that, but yeah, just kind of talk through my experience and share what I've been through here. So yeah, so let's start with the good. This thing is nimble. I mean, when you're carving on it, it feels like I am, cutting fresh powder on a mountain. The area that I live here is about 2.5 hours or so away from the closest slope. I'm a real big snowboarder and love that. So, this gives me that feeling right here in my neighborhood. So that is awesome. Definitely a really fun part of having this Onewheel and being able to just go power it up, get out on the street and shred a little bit. Also too, just like being able to get out, getting out more, us being in the situation that we have been as a world just recently, you're kind of stuck at staying indoors, and this is a cool way to kind of get out and see your surroundings and things like that. I mentioned earlier on in one of my videos that riding a Segway in San Francisco was one of the things that got me really interested in getting on a electric vehicle that is powered by or controlled by your body motion. And this Pint is letting me experience that all over again in a totally different way that is even cooler than that first experience. So that is something that I really appreciate about this Pint. I'm really looking forward to going out and exploring some other cities. I'm able to kind of go 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour from here right now pretty easily and go see some surrounding cities, but I can't wait to put this thing on a plane and get out there and really explore some new territory with this. So that, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. All right, so we've kind of covered the good. Let's talk a little bit about the bad. And some of these things are really not that big of a deal, but things that I should share anyway. One thing is range for the Pint. So I knew this going into it, that the range was significantly lower than that of the XR. And I'm a big guy, let's face it. So I knew that I was going to get some reduced range, and in part it may be because I've been riding in cold weather. Haven't really had too many days with the temperature over 50 degrees here in my area. So definitely not getting the range that was advertised on the box. And like I said, it was something that I kind of expected. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is kind of a bit of a downer from time to time. But one thing I found that you could do to really reduce the impact of that is to buy an ultra charger. I got the Pint ultra charger from Future Motion, and that thing is quick. It will charge up the board from pretty much 1 to 100% in under an hour. And I tell you, when it's actually doing the charging, it feels like it's super fast. So I did a little bit of a longer trip a couple weeks ago over to the Norfolk area, and it gave me plenty of time to ride, cruise, have a little bit of fun, and then go ahead and charge up at a rest stop while I was taking a break, grabbing a drink, grabbing a bite to eat, and it worked out perfectly for that. So definitely get you an ultra charger if you got a Pint, if you want to do some extended riding. So the other part of the buying experience that I say is a little bit bad, not that it's that big of a deal, but I ordered the Pint and the accessories that you can see here at the same time, but my Pint came about, I think, 3 days before the actual accessories came. There's no way you're going to wait for 3 days once you have it in hand to go out and ride it. So unfortunately, I went out and rode and did a little bit of dinging up, being that it was my first few rides. It's not that big of a deal because I plan on keeping this thing forever. But I really wish that the accessories would have came at the same time. But everything came in, it was right, the right color, so not too much to complain about there. talk a little bit about the ugly. Really, the only ugly part of this one-wheel experience is the falls. So really there's two instances that I've had where I've fallen. One of them was just a very quick, I tapped the ground and got up. I was going down a pretty even flowing hill. When I went up the other side, I was just leaning in a little too far, and that caused me to nosedive a bit. I ran it out for the most part, but had just a little bit of a hit. Another time was in my driveway. Going into my driveway, you have a little bit of a hill going down and then a lip to get over, and then it goes immediately back uphill just slightly. And when kind of trying to tackle that obstacle earlier on in my riding, it was a little bit challenging for me. So I actually hit and rolled it out pretty quickly though. I had my wrist guards on, had my helmet on, no major issues there. But yeah, I was able to roll it out because I wasn't going too fast. But yeah, that is ugly. It's not fun to fall on these things, but that's kind of with any board sport, it's never fun to hit the ground. All right, so in all, I am so glad that I made this purchase. This is really one of the best purchases I've ever made. I keep saying that. I love this thing. I see a lot of fun times ahead. And if you're thinking about pulling the trigger, I tell you what, I would highly recommend that you just go out and do it, because it's gonna be one of the best purchases you've ever made. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.